Good evening and welcome to our final virtual leaders update for the summer of 2025 at Resica Falls. We've got a night of last minute reminders, some quick changes, and a bunch of information to share with you as we go through and talk about the final stages of your preparation for summer camp at Resica. Remember that your cameras are on. We can see, you can see us, we can't see you, and there's no microphones as well on your end. If you have any questions, please be sure to answer them through the Q&A feature. The chat has been disabled. We've got our team with us this evening, myself, Steve Mock, the camp director, our two assistant camp directors, Jerry Reed and Matt Gutterman, our program director, Dom Tomasetti, and our assistant program director, Jake Walsh. As we go through, we're going to do some more reminders about the medical form review days. We're going to give a little bit of an overview of check-in to remind people of some key points about the check-in process and your arrival to camp. To another reminder about our 2025 theme shirts, and then any final pre-camp pieces to make sure you're as ready as possible for your stay at Resica Falls. So, pre-camp medical review days. This is something that we started last year, seemed to be a big help, so we're bringing them back with a fury again this year. You have the opportunity to go to the Cradle of Liberty Council office on one of 3 dates to get your medical forms for your unit reviewed ahead of time. Those dates are May 31st, June 7th, and June 8th, and the times are listed there. 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on the 31st, 8:30 a.m. to 12 noon on the 7th of June, and 8:30 to 1:30 on June 8th. You will send a representative from your unit with all of the medical forms for your unit, right? We're looking to have the entire unit's medical forms complete, and then they can be reviewed at that time. There is no virtual option with this. The medical forms need to be reviewed in person, and they were then going to stay with us until you depart from your week of summer camp. So our team will review the forms ahead of time. If there's any issues, they will give the forms back to you so that they can be corrected and amended. But if not, they will then keep them. They will come to camp, and then they'll be all completed when you come to camp on Sunday for your check-in experience. And that will help make your check-in not just for your unit, but for the whole camp a little bit smoother, having your medical forms reviewed ahead of time. What you're going to make sure that you're going to have for the people in your unit are 1 copy of the annual health and medical record, parts A, B, and C. So that includes the physical examination needed for anybody staying in a long-term camp like summer camp. Right? Going to need 2 copies of the drug administration record, which is a form that has been updated for the summer of 2025. And if you're choosing to keep your unit's medications inside your campsite rather than the health lodge, right, you need 1 copy of the unit medication storage release. And essentially that is one person authorizing that they are taking the responsibility for the unit's medications. The drug administration record, section 1, needs to be filled out by everybody. Right, and then section 2 is for those people that take prescription medications, right? But section 1 is an over-the-counter authorization, which allows for individual medications to be authorized in advance of the summer camp stay by a parent or guardian. So that way the health officer doesn't need to call and ask if they're allowed to give somebody Tylenol or cold medicine or something like that while they're in camp. So everyone needs to have that section 1 completed, right? Um, that is medical forms, both for pre-review as well as your stay in camp, pretty much in a nutshell. So getting those reviewed ahead of time is going to be extremely important, right? Some things to kind of keep in mind with those medical forms, right, is the fact that it is a 12-month form that is due for till the end of the 12th month. So if you had a physical completed on March 3rd or June 3rd, right, it is valid until the last day of that month. So March 31st or June 30th. Double check for signatures, all right? You should be making sure that parent signatures, participant signatures, as well as doctor signatures are all where they should be before you turn in the forms. And you're giving us a copy, right? Making sure you're keeping the original of that form. I would also say that around dates, if you're at a week of camp where the week of camp has a month change, we go from June 30th to July 1st, that form is still good till the end of that week of camp as well. So just kind of keep that in mind. Make sure that you have the forms in alphabetical order by last name. Staple multiple pages together, but don't use binder sleeves. The medical form review team has to take them out of the binder sleeves, and it just slows up the process both in camp and at the pre-review days. But making sure everything's stapled together, make sure that forms don't get all kinds of mixed up during the review process. If there's any scouts in your unit that are still looking for, they can't make it to camp with your troop, or they're looking for another summer camp experience, they can sign up and be part of our Troop 1 provisional program during weeks 4, 5, or 6. ResicaFalls.org/Provo has the information for signing up for that program. And it is a great opportunity for scouts to get a little extra time in camp, both fun in the outdoors as well as making new friends and working on some additional merit badges. So that's weeks 4, 5, and 6 as part of our Resica Falls Troop 1 provisional program, resicafalls.org/Provo.
All right, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm going to talk a little bit about the start of our check-in procedures. So to start, your unit will be assigned a check-in time before camp. You can make that request on what time that is through your pre-camp survey that we've sent out. To start, you will arrive at Resica Elementary. You're going to send one leader to that yellow tent with all the paperwork, the My Scouting roster, the medical forms, and the ATV or cowboy action forms that you have for the extra activities your scouts will participate during the week. Then there are various stations beyond that that you'll be directed to by our camp director, Steve. Um, and you'll go through that roster verification with him. And then there's another tent that will go through a medical form review where we'll have our staff review your medical forms and make sure they're complete with all the necessary information, as well as you'll meet a health officer just to discuss and answer any questions you have right before you arrive, as well as receive a medication storage box if you've filled out that form. After that, you'll get back in your vehicles and line up, and our staff will dismiss you when the camp is ready to drive on into camp. And there you'll move into our unloading point, which now I'll transition over to Dom to explain that side of check-in.
Thanks, Jake. Once you arrive at camp, you'll be staged at our unloading area around the side of Unami Lodge, which is our main camp office. At this point, if you have any troop or personal gear in your vehicles, it'll be loaded into one of our many camp trucks to be transported directly to your site. If your troop has a trailer, that trailer will be sent directly to the site so that we can get you through our check-in process as quickly and smoothly as possible. From there, you're assigned site host, and with help from your leaders and SPL, we'll gather up the members of your troop and we'll take you to your site for an overall inspection to make sure everything fits our standards as well as yours. If anyone in your troop has yet to take their swim tests, they should get changed into their bathing suit so that they can do so. Following that, your site host will take you to the dining hall to explain how our waitering style meals work, and answer any questions you have about our lunch periods or meal schedules. After that, you'll be taken right to the pool for your aquatic safety talk with another one of our staff. Following that, any scout who still needs to take their swim test will be able to do so. Just as a reminder, if this is your troop's first time at Resica Falls, please don't be afraid to ask for a tour of camp, because our site host would be more than happy to show you around. A few quick reminders. Instead of the waitering style dinner on Sunday, we will have a buffet dinner starting at 4 p.m. and going until 7, in order to help accommodate for any possible late arrivals during check-in. Following dinner, our first colors of the week will be at 7:15 on the parade field out front of the dining hall. Once again, this is mostly just to accommodate for any late arrivals during check-in, because the rest of the colors, or rest of our evening colors for the week will be held at 6:15 instead. Following that, 7:45 at the Resica Rangers Amphitheater, there will be a leaders and SPL meeting, where the camp leadership team will share with you some key details about your week and discuss some of the program opportunities you'll have during your stay. Following that meeting, Jake and I will take all of our SPLs over to the dining hall to meet with all of our area directors to sign up for the afternoon adventures they would like to participate in. And finally, our opening campfire will take place at 8:45 at the Richards Arena. Real quick, I'm just going to turn it right back over to Jake to briefly talk about our Weeblos program.
Yeah. So, as we discussed in our previous webinars, we're very excited to offer week 6, our Welos Week program. We're looking forward to an exciting week of adventures, covering, the knife skills, the uh, basics on cooking, and even an overnighter for our Air of Lights. We're doing a lot of exciting things. We blow cowboy action with BBs, and a lot of other fun things. We blow swims, trips. So if you have a Cub pack that you're still, connected with, and it seems like something they'd be really interested in, so I would really recommend checking out our program and seeing if they're interested in going. And I'll turn it on over to Matt to talk about our next topic.
Thanks, Jake. 2025 theme shirts. So orders for our theme shirts this year will be closing in just a couple days. So if your unit is interested in getting customized shirts this year, please make sure you get that in by May 22nd. The shirts this year will be in 2 different colors, but you don't need to worry about which color your troop needs to order. We'll be doing all that coordination for you. And your color will coordinate with which camp-wide team you're on throughout the week. Shirts have a left chest logo featuring the theme on it, and are customized on the back with your unit number as well as your hometown. All of that information is given to us directly through Blackpug. So when you go to place your order, make sure you fill everything in. Shirts this year cost either $20 or $25 depending on the size, and all of that is ordered through your Blackpug registration, directly through the registration contact section. So if you're the registration contact, you'll have to place that order for anyone in your unit, but it's all centralized there. You'll receive your shirts once you arrive in camp, either as part of the check-in process or later Sunday evening, but we'll have those shirts for you as well. There will be a limited quantity of non-customized shirts available through the trading post. Keep in mind, because there's 2 different colors this year, we might not have the exact size or color for your unit if you wait to order the shirts until you get in camp. Again, those are generic shirts and won't be customized for your unit. I wanted to throw one last reminder here out to make sure that you've read the program guide. The program guide was published a couple months ago and is available on the Resica Falls website, and it answers pretty much every question that you could possibly think of. We go into detail about emergency procedures and the different programs happening in camp, what your arrival day will look like, and things like that. So make sure that you've given the program guide a quick read before you come to camp. And if you still have any questions, there's directions in there on how to reach out to us. Lastly, a couple final pre-camp reminders before we get into the Q&A section. So again, read the program guide. I know we've said it on every leaders update that we've had so far this year, and I know I just said it, but we cannot stress it enough. You'll find a lot of great information in that guide. Coming up in the next couple of days, we'll be opening registration for the Global Port Festival. That's an activity where your troop gets to choose to represent a different country, a different port throughout the world, and plan activities and things related to that for the entire Camp 2 experience. You'll be able to sign up for the country that you're interested in starting on May 25th. And just like everything else, that'll be available through your Black Pug registration under the registration contact section. Also in that registration contact section is your pre-camp survey. Please make sure that you filled out those fields that we have in there for the pre-camp survey. That information became required on your registration a couple weeks ago. And we use that information for things like figuring out what campsite to place you in based off of any necessary accommodations. We use that to determine who's bringing trailers and buses and things like that to camp, so we can plan check-in times. And we pass that information along to our commissioners so they know how to better prepare for the week that you'll be in camp. Next, I want to remind you to fill out the dietary restriction form. That can be found on the Resica Falls website on the food and nutrition page. And that form goes directly to our food service for them to coordinate any dietary restrictions that you have. You'll also find a copy of our menu on the website. Culinart has worked with us this year to provide 3 separate menus based off of vegetarian and gluten-free and things like that. But make sure you fill out the dietary restriction form so they know that they need to prepare that food and order that food ahead of time for your campers while they're in camp. Again, that information is sent directly to Culinart, our food service provider. But if you have questions, please reach out to us as well, and we'll get you in contact there. Final payments were due just a couple days ago on May 15th. Please make sure that you're doing everything you can to get those payments in. As a reminder, we need those final payments before you'll be given access to camp. And we won't be able to make campsite assignments without knowing what those final numbers are based off of the payments. So please get those payments in if you haven't already. Reach out to us if you're having issues or need accommodations there. But our expectation is that all those payments will be in as soon as possible if they're not already in. And lastly, campsite assignments will be posted in early June in the coming weeks. Again, we use that information from the payments and the survey to sort of figure all that out. We'll be using that information to assign which team you're on in camp and things like that. But those assignments will be posted in the coming weeks. We'll send an email out to all the registered leaders in camp with a link to the assignments so you can find your check-in time and where you'll be staying in camp. At this point, I think we're going to open it up for Q&A. Steve, do you have any questions that have come in so far?
There's one about the check-in process that I'm going to let Jake reiterate.
Yeah, so the question being, when the leader's checking the troop, asking if the scouts and parents are staying in their car until directed. Yes, those scouts and parents should wait by their vehicles. It's easier to just have that one or two leaders go to Steve and then go through each of those tents until the final medical pre-check questions after meeting the health officer. That's where the troops should get to know that health officer and ask any questions they might have, as well as get asked our medical pre-check questions. After that, that's when they all go back to the vehicles.
Awesome. Thank you, Jake. A couple other questions here. Meal assignments, right? You will receive those when you check in at, like Jake just said, as part of the check-in process, you'll find out whether you are in the blue meal or the red meal um, at that time, right? If we have them figured out ahead of time, which we probably will, they'll be on that sheet that Matt mentioned with your check-in time and your campsite assignment, but you will definitely find that out as part of your check-in time. Okay. It is not too late to register any scout for summer camp. So if you still have some scouts that maybe just joined the troop or some late Arrow of Light crossovers, certainly have the opportunity to sign them up for summer camp and have them come with your troop for the week. So you can sign them up, add them to your registration, and of course, if you have any issues, you can reach out to us or the council camping department. Kim Trainer's pretty awesome and helping everybody out. So definitely get that scout registered if they're looking to come to summer camp. Right? All right, I got a question here about the afternoon adventure guide. Dom, you wanna hit on that one?
Sure. We were just finishing up some logistical things with some of our afternoon adventures, making sure that we can run the best possible program. Um, Gutterman, did you have a date in mind now that that has been finalized?
Yeah, that'll be published by the end of the week here.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Sorry that there was a little delay there. A couple other pieces that we had on the back end that we had to make sure that we figured out. So that Afternoon Adventures guide is going to be published, and you'll have that in the next couple days here. So we'll get that out to everybody. Couple special diet questions here. So if a scout's looking to receive a particular type of meal or diet, whether that is vegetarian or gluten-free, then you should request that via the diet form. The chef and the catering team are only going to prepare a certain number of gluten-free items or vegetarian items based on responses received on that dietary restrictions form ahead of time. So please make sure that you're filling out that form to have that scout's dietary, or having the scout fill out that form to have their dietary needs met before your arrival in camp. If you're bringing the forms to the pre-camp medical days and they're being all reviewed and our team is keeping those forms, then you do not need to bring those with you for check-in. They're going to bring them from the medical review days to us in camp, and then we'll have them in camp for when you arrive. So you don't need to bring another copy of those forms with you to camp. We will have them all taken care of. All right, we'll give it another minute here, see if there's any other questions that might come in. But if there are any other questions that people have once the meeting is over, please make sure you send them to us at hello@resicafalls.org. We'll make sure that we get your questions answered, get you the information that you're looking for, and hopefully make sure that everything's good and handled for your stay in camp. All right. Really, thank you for being with us this evening. I know it was a quick meeting, but we wanted to share some of those key updates and ideas, and make sure that some of the things like the medical forms and check-in were fresh in everybody's mind. There will be a recording of this webinar along with our two previous pre-camp leaders meetings, the one in February and the one in April. They will all be able to be found at youtube.com/Resica Falls. It'll take a couple days for this to get up there and everything, but certainly by the weekend you'll have access to this as well as those previous two, right? And again, if there are some additional questions, we can certainly answer them through our email, hello@resicafalls.org. That goes to pretty much the whole leadership team, so we can get back to you with the answers that you need to make sure everything's going to be good for your stay in camp. So there are a few late questions coming in through the Q&A. I'll answer those very quickly, and we'll be on our way, and everyone can enjoy their evening. So if you want to switch a merit badge, you can go into your registration. You can remove the merit badge that the scout has signed up for that they no longer want to take, and then sign them up for the badge that they in fact do want to take during that particular time slot. All right. Cell phone policy, that is at the unit's discretion, how you want the scouts to interact with their phones or not during your stay in camp. So that is on you as a unit. All adults are allowed to bring their own tents if they want, but we do provide tenting for both scouts and adults when we assign campsites and tent numbers in our campsite assignments. All right. We are happy that you're able to join us this evening. And if you have any additional questions, please send them over to hello@resicafalls.org, and we will see you in camp. Good night.